everyone, this is Brigid Harrington, and you are listening to the We Want Arts podcast, where we explore the necessity of arts education in the United States. Today, we have a very special guest and a very good friend of mine, Cheryl Ann Cassidy. Cheryl and my sister and I met each other when the three of us performed together in an original one-act musical called Once Around the Circle, written and composed by Cheryl Ann. Besides being an incredibly talented actor and singer herself, Cheryl is also a music educator in New York. Cheryl earned her bachelor's degree in music education K-12 and vocal studies from the Aaron Copland School of Music, and she also has her master's in music therapy and special education. Cheryl is a music teacher at the New York City Department of Education, and she also owns her own music studio called Cheryl Ann's School of Music and Singing. Here, Cheryl teaches a variety of students how to sing and develop their vocal, piano, guitar, songwriting, and performance skills. Cheryl, thank you so much for being with us here today. I hope that you're staying healthy and safe during this crazy time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Brigid.
Well, I want to talk about all of the amazing work that you do as a music educator in New York. But first, I just want to talk to you a little bit about you as a professional singer and actor. Shannon and I have always really looked up to you as a performer ever since we met you doing Once Around the Circle. And so I just wanted to know how you got into music and what made you want to become a performer.
Okay, so how I first started singing, I started off as a singer. I grew up listening to, both my parents are from Ireland, so I grew up listening to like Irish folk music. My mom would always have it playing in the house. And I remember just listening to the likes of like Sinead O'Connor, from a very small age, just being really intrigued by the music. I guess which was just kind of weird to be so into folk music at like such a young age. I started listening to it, I guess, at 5, and then I kept on growing up. I was growing up singing it, and then I listened to the likes of Luke Kelly and different Irish artists and different country artists, and I asked I asked Santa Claus for voice lessons one year, and then that kind of like just set everything off, and I was like obsessed with music from that point on.
Oh, that's so nice. My dad introduced me and Shannon to Irish folk music also from a really early age. He'd play the chieftains for us when we were just babies. So we grew up with that. Now, how do you think your Irish heritage influenced the types of songs that you sing as an artist and your own personal style?
Yeah, so I actually was thinking about this year. I never realized how much of a big influence it had until I started gravitating towards certain music. So I right now I've always loved country music, and I like all genres, to be honest. But country and Irish music is so similar in a way, and I guess from growing up and just having it around me and being surrounded by it all the time really influenced what I like now and what I gravitate to. And I notice I always seem to end up going back to like my roots, which is I think what a lot of people do when it comes to music, or it's something they can relate to. So I definitely think my culture like influence my style and my like the way I sing things.
Well, so me and Shannon, we met you obviously doing Once Around the Circle, which was an original one-act musical written by Cheryl Ann. And we did a lot of different things on this project. We recorded the music in Avatar Studios. We did a workshop, stage reading of all the things of all the different phases that this project went through. What do you think was your favorite part of working on a developmental piece of theater?
I think my favorite part was definitely just like seeing it all come together from like the beginning, like we were working individually, learning the music. And then when we all met, and it was just like one of those like magical moments where everything like just worked. And then finally, then when we got to the recording studio, like of how like first of all, the experience of just being in Avatar's recording studio was so much fun, and just like everybody's energy was just so great. And then the whole thing is just beautiful. It speaks for itself. And it was great to work with Mr. Estreicher. I always call him Mr. Estreicher because he was my cooperating teacher. It was great. It was great to work with Shannon because he's just like, I learned so much from him as a teacher myself. I think that's where I got my, like, I learned so much through student teaching when I worked with him. And then when I saw him in like a performance, I guess, in a performance setting, I just saw like the true genius of what he could do as a composer. And that's what I think makes a great teacher, is people that really, really have like a true passion for what they do.
And he's such a gifted composer. Just the music is just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you mentioned, so you were a student teacher for Shannon, is that right?
Yes, that's how I first met him, and that's how I got involved in Once Around the Circle as well, because he heard me sing.
Right. Well, you also have extensive experience as a certified New York City Department of Education music teacher. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do in that capacity?
Sure. Yeah. So I went to how my whole teaching career started was I went to a performing arts high school, and I was like set on going to a performing arts like conservatory type of setting. Like I didn't have any plans actually to become a music teacher, and one of my music teachers in high school, Miss Ballard, she was like she inspired me so much. I just learned so much from her when I was in high school, and I just looked up to her as a teacher. And she said something that really like stuck with me, because I was like debating, should I go to a performing, should I just do full-time acting, full-time singing, or should I maybe do something where I can have like I always loved learning, so I figured my mom's a teacher too, so I kind of grew up in that kind of field. But she said something. She was like, Cheryl, you don't need to, like, I really wanted to go to NYU, but it was extraordinarily expensive. So she was like, Cheryl, you can get a degree as a music teacher and still go on as many auditions as you want, and take classes like privately, and you could create your own sort of conservatory. So I went with that option, and then I went to Aaron Copland School of Music, which is part of Queens College, and I got a full scholarship there. So that was the option I went with, and I was happy with it. And I actually kind of did start up I'm from Sunnyside, Queens, so I kind of was able to go into the city and take classes, and then also do my studies at Queens College, which was really fun.
Now, what was it like? Because you have specialization in music therapy and special education, along with your degree in music education K through 12. So what was it like pursuing that course of study?
It was lots of work. I like very stressful at times. What helped me while teaching, I did a lot of classes online, which especially now in our current situation, I was able to get a lot done from my home. And then I was able to time manage things that way. So I took a lot of classes online, and basically I was able to like kind of organize my schedule around my coursework. And then I finally got certified in all those areas.
Right. Well,
but it was hard.
I'm sure. And of course, with balancing auditions on top of all that, I'm sure it was just a lot to manage.
Yeah. And a lot of times, it's like being flexible, because auditions pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
You kind of have to like drop everything if you want to go to it. So I learned that like sometimes I would have to put things on the back burner and just be okay with it. And then just basically my days started really early, and I was very tired most of the time.
Right. Well, you also created your own music studio called Cheryl Ann School of Music and Singing. Can you tell us why you created this studio and what its mission is?
So I started teaching full time in 2015. Was it 15? I think it was 2015. with the DOE. And I noticed, like, I basically at my public school, and then I'll get back to your question, was
Sure.
I started teaching choir, general music, and a like little kids rock program, which I still teach. And I noticed that as a singer, I naturally gravitate towards singing would be my favorite thing to teach, because I'm just used to doing it myself. And I noticed that I was able to figure out ways that young students were very interested in pop music because they're listening to it all the time. And through the Little Kids Rock program, which is a great program, which basically teaches kids how to sing pop music and kind of like makes it the chords are very basic so they can play and sing along. I noticed the kids were coming out at the end of the year with our concerts were incredible. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should do this as like a little side gig at my own studio. So I saved up money and bought a grand piano, and then just through word of mouth, a lot of people started asking me for private voice lessons, and it kind of took off, and that's how it got started. So I have a lot of students from where I live now in Sunnyside and in the Queens area that come to me.
Right.
A lot of them come to me for like audition prep. So a lot of them are about to go into high school and they want to get into LaGuardia. So we work on audition prep, and it's fun because I was in their shoes at one point. So I know how they're feeling, and I know what teachers are looking for, because I'm a teacher as well.
Right. Well, so besides the fact that many of your students want to pursue a career in the arts, what other ways have you seen these music lessons positively impact your students?
I actually have one student. This is from the actual school, not my private school, but he seemed to always be getting in trouble, and generally in school, he was always in the principal's office. But I noticed that whenever he came into music class, like he was just he just seemed really, really excited. And so even though he was a little bit of a troublemaker, and everybody kind of knew that, I kind of made him like the leader of like the class. And the musicality this kid had was like crazy. He could play the drums, he could play the guitar, he could play the keyboards just naturally, just like a natural gift. And his behavior, like just from like shining a light on that and letting everybody know, just like did a 360, which was really, really cool to see as a new enough teacher.
Yeah. It's music, particularly in schools, it's just such a creative outlet for students that maybe have a difficult time expressing themselves in other aspects of their schooling.
And I think that's my main goal as a teacher, is just like music should be fun, and you should be learning at the same time, but you should be learning while having fun. And I think that's why I do see a different side of kids, I think, as a music teacher, which I'm grateful for.
Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate having the chance to talk to you about your amazing career. You do so many things, and you do them all so well. Me and Shannon look up to you very much. We always have.
Thank you so much.
We always have, and
I've always looked up to you guys.
Oh, well, we miss you. We hope that you're doing well, and thank you so much for taking the time to share with us your a wonderful experience.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Brigid.
The We Want Arts podcast, hosted by me, Brigid Harrington, and produced and edited by my sister, Shannon Harrington. Original music by Shannon Harrington. If you haven't done so already, follow Broadway Arts Reach on Facebook and check out our website at broadwayartsreach.org. That's Broadway, ARTSREACH. Also, follow my sister and I on our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you'll be back soon. Bye!